I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to race number 15 of Season 7 of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series, as we're here for our third Super Speedway of the season. This is M&Ms Super Speedway, 3 miles in length, high speeds, and 42 laps await these 42 drivers. Should be a good one here today. It's be the cap-off of our doubleheader for the Super Speedways last night. We saw Benjamin Snyder pick up his first career victory in the Light Series race at Armory Digital. And we also had a really good race at the sister track to M&M Super Speedway a little bit earlier on this season at Coke Zero Super Speedway. So expect to have a little bit more of what we saw there here today, and maybe more so as we're now into the second half of the regular season, down the stretch towards the playoffs. An opportunity here today for maybe a driver to pick up a victory or gain a lot of points to get up in the top 10 in the standings, maybe fight for a wild card spot. Speaking of, let's take a look at your current playoff grid coming into today. One name that you will notably not see there would be last week's winner from the Coke 600 at Charlotte, Connor Breton. Despite the fact he got his second win on the year, he is still 33rd in points, 8 points below 30th in standings cut line, so he is not yet in a wild card spot. You see your top 10 in points there. Reggie Fogelman, our pole sitter today, jumped up into the top 10 last week. Levi McIntyre moves back up into the top 10. So right now you've got Casey Hoyt, Dylan Poteet, Will Goss, and Levi McIntyre, the former winners that are inside the top 10 in points right now, not needing the wins they've gotten to be the criteria for a wild card position. Matthew Rodriguez still holds the number 1 seed for the wild card drivers, even though he is now 30th in the point standings. He is going to need a lot of points here today to cushion himself from that cut line. Dylan Young currently at a wild card spot, along with Caleb Fogler, Zachary Fitzwater, and Kyler Sustre via their wins. That means that there is one spot available for a driver to be in on points, and that would be Reese Banks, who currently is 11th in the overall points. He and Levi McIntyre did a little do-si-do of their points positioning after Charlotte last week. So if the regular season that is, were to have ended last week, these would have been the drivers that would be battling it out for the championship in the playoffs, but there's still a long, long ways to go, and it'll be a long ways to go in this one here today. We may end up seeing some green flag pit stops. The dreaded big one looms around every corner when it's a super speedway race. What will M&Ms bring to the table? Let's find out. We're going down trackside to get those most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
I'm up in the center of 1 and 2 up here, so as you're going down the back stretch into 3, it may appear to me that they're inside, but they may be just shy of that. I'll really try to stay on top of that all night, bud.
Pace car leading the field off of pit road. Someone with an issue there at the start. It looked like it might have been one of the Joanna Atwood Motorsports cars. No, it was actually Zach Rogers. Zach Rogers in the 6 and Joshua Osborne in the 27, both not rolling off of the grid. So a couple of Chevrolets with some problems there. Joshua Osborne out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports, Zach Rogers out of Evans Motorsports. There's a technical alliance between those organizations. Has been ever since back in Season 4 when those two organizations ran Dodges. And apparently we'll try and figure out what's gone wrong with those machines, but tough break right out of the gate for two teams that are struggling. I mean, Joshua Osborne's 40th in points and Zach Rogers is 41st in points. This is not what they needed to start off this one. You saw your starting lineup already. A couple of drivers to keep an eye on here today that are outside the top 30 in points, former winners. We already documented about Connor Breton, two-time winner on the season, defending winner from last week. Jessica Shelton, also former winner from Chicagoland, 38th in points, 34 points below the cut line. Those two drivers look to get up into a wild card spot via top 30 at the conclusion of this one. Reggie Fogelman's Chevrolet, Matt Haas's Toyota, they're going to bring us down. 42 laps await us here from M&M Super Speedway. We may have chaos early because this track can hold them 3, 4, 5 wide. Not a lot of room may be given. Let's see what happens as the green flag is waving. And Matt Haas getting a good jump there on the top is actually going to clear across 3 lanes. Fitzwater, Fogelman, and Fogler. And Haas is going to be the leader through 1 and 2. Now Fogler makes the move to the bottom for the top position. We've only had one previous race here at M&M Super Speedway, and that was last season. Michael Norman, who qualified 5th, now running in 3rd, looking for 2nd, is the defending winner. Keep an eye here off of turn 4 in the early laps of this race. Things really tighten up. They narrow up off of this corner. A lot of drivers don't want to give room, but it looks like they did there, even though we are 4 wide in a couple areas of the field. And we will complete the first lap under green, but look at them back there. 5 wide, almost 6 wide there. Contact. Charles Sanford and Matt McIntyre were leaning on each other through the entirety of the front stretch. They managed to keep it together, though. Little contact there. Rob Evans and Austin LaPlante. They can race hard. They can race multiple lanes wide. They just have to be sure to give room. Kyle Matthews moving up through the field there. He's now up to 3rd, behind Michael Norman, behind Caleb Fogler. 4th place side by side, Poteet and Collins. And Matthews will step out on Michael Norman for 2nd place. There's Jessica Shelton in the 94. We got someone in the grass back there. Was that Dustin Bolin? It was. He did not advance his position, but I'm not exactly sure what he was doing down there. Might be dropping to the back, which, in all honesty, might not be that bad of a decision. Try and see if we can follow up on the 27 and the 6. They're still sitting on pit road. So not certain what's happened with those two Chevrolets, but one would certainly think that even 3 laps in, they're out of the conversation for this race victory. Tough break for both of those drivers as Rob Evans moving into 2nd place, working with fellow Chevrolet Austin LaPlante. Rob Evans taking the points lead back from Casey Hoyt last week after Charlotte. Comes in 9 points up on the 74. I keep an eye on Casey Hoyt during the course of this one. Not sure where he's running right now, but the sister track to M&M Super Speedway, Coke Zero Super Speedway that we were at earlier on this season, was where Casey Hoyt picked up his 2nd win of his very young rookie career. His teammate Jesse Turner, who is 3rd in points, 26 points out, going to go for the race lead now. Not going to have enough of a push, I don't think. He's got Mitchell Collins helping him, but Rob Evans on that top side is going to keep the momentum down the back straightaway and hold on to the lead, at least for the time being. Turner going to stay on that inside, though. Going to still see if he can edge out Evans here to the line. No drafting help close enough to help him on this front straightaway. Continuing to see drivers down there clipping the grass going into one. Not really sure what they're doing there, but so far it hasn't caused an incident. As soon as I say that, the caution flag is out. First caution of the day going to be on lap 5. They'll race back here to the yellow flag. Rob Evans, Jesse Turner going to step out again, looking for the race lead. He might get it this time. Mitchell Collins right there with him. Good momentum, good tandem for those blue ovals, and they're going to easily clear the 65 of Rob Evans. Dylan Poteet's going to move into third, and Evans might even lose fourth to Austin LaPlante coming to the line here as Turner will lead us under our first yellow of the day. Joshua Osborne, they have actually declared him out of the race. He didn't even get to take the green flag, and engine valve the reasoning for his retiring. Zach Rogers is out on the racetrack. Whatever the issue was, they have fixed it enough to get him out there and logging laps, so he will at least pass Joshua Osborne. On the final standings is Anthony McCurry, Daniel Voiles on pit road. Anthony with the new Celsius colors on his Mazda. James Qualls, oh man, that's a driver that's been running well in points. And he's done. He's done for the day. Just like that. Benjamin Miles is also on pit road. Can't see it from this angle, but looks like a lot of front end damage on the Napa Chevrolet. Both Mazdas might have been collected in this one. Nick Gunther's got some damage. Casey Hoyt, we were just talking about him maybe being one of the favorites, having the victory at the other 3 Mile Superspeedway of Coke Zero Superspeedway. He's got damage on the left and rear of his U-Haul Ford. Dylan Young's got damage on the front end of his machine. And there might have been some others that got some bits and pieces of this wreck. Let's see, with pit road open, yeah, I was thinking more than likely everybody was going to be coming down pit lane. I don't even think you'll have anybody that will attempt to stay out here. I think everybody will be coming to pit road, so they'll give us the opportunity to go back and take a look at a replay of what brought out this first caution of the day. Quite a few drivers running very well in the point standings collected up in this one. And it might have started with the 55 of Nick Gunther. Oh, nope. James Qualls thought he was clear, comes down across the nose of the 55. And then right back up the track. Nowhere for Benjamin Miles to go. The whole left front wheel well completely missing off of that car. And there you see smoke up ahead of other drivers that were caught up in a follow-up wreck. Difficult for the spotter to be able to know just exactly when a driver is clear and when they're not. Over on that skybox on the front straightaway, here's a look focusing on the 26 of Daniel Voiles, who was involved in the follow-up wreck further up. Boy, Matthew Rodriguez does a good job getting through. Cody Lamas gets into Voiles, up into Sanford. Reggie Fogelman was in it. Dylan Young gets a piece. RJ Bishop, I think, might have also gotten involved. Nathan Norman might have been in it. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really see Anthony McCurry get a big piece of that. Unless it was a little bit further up and off screen. Let's focus on him and see. Oh, right there. He gets to the back of Cody Lamas. Five laps in, our pole sitter goes from the lead to involved in the first wreck, that being Reggie Fogelman. Let's see about other drivers like RJ Bishop. We know Dylan Young was involved. Reese Banks gets through. Ryan Brommer gets through. Destin Bowen, Levi McIntyre, Keith Batson, Ryan Butcher. Bishop looks okay. He got clipped and then brushes the wall with the left side of his car, but I think he got through unscathed. Cole Deaver also. So a wreck and a follow-up wreck, bringing out the first caution of the day. We're going to have some drivers that will certainly be off the pace after the damage they received. And it looks like 4 drivers are going to be out of the race, joining Joshua Osborne, Nick Gunther, Benjamin Miles, James Qualls, and Daniel Voiles. Biggest hit in the points will come in the direction of the 70 of James Qualls, who was slowly falling down through the point standings, but last week gained 2 spots back up to 6th. This is not going to help him, though, to remain in the top 10 in points. He was, I think, only 15 points ahead of the 10th in the standings cut line, and finishing 39th here today. Well, more than likely finishing in 40th, as Zach Rogers will complete about 3 or 4 laps and bypass him for that spot. That is going to hurt the 70 in overall points heading into next week. A bit of concern as well for some other drivers that I know got involved in the wreck of how up to speed they're going to be. You got Dylan Young, Anthony McCurry, and Cody Lamas, who all were involved 12th, 13th, 14th. Make that 12th, 13th, 15th in overall points coming into this one. All 3 drivers were looking to move up into the top 10. Dylan Young trying to keep himself in a wild card position. Now they're all still running, all still on the lead lap, but I think they're going to have some damage they'll have to deal with for the remainder of this race, and they may be off the pace. And we saw lap traffic, slower traffic, come into play in the Coke Zero Super Speedway race. Might be a case of deja vu here in this one. Lights out atop the Toyota Camry pace car. Dylan Poteet was the first off of pit road, so he will lead us back to green. Poteet, of course, coming off a lot of momentum. He had a checkered flag at Darlington a few weeks ago, won the All-Star race, and comes into this one 4th in overall points, 29 points out of the points lead, looking for his 2nd win on the season. He'll have Jesse Turner right behind him in 2nd, Austin LaPlante 3rd, Mitchell Collins in 4th, and Jessica Shelton up there in 5th, Connor Breeden 6th. So there's the 94 and the 88 who really need points. They were ahead of the wreck, and right now inside the top 10. Keith Batson is in 7th, Kyler Sustre 8th, Chris Dollerton 9th, and Rob Evans currently completes the top 10. I was talking about Casey Hoyt, a driver to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on Keith Batson as well, because it was a photo finish in our Coke Zero Super Speedway race. Casey Hoyt over, you guessed it, Keith Batson. So Batson, you got to think, probably brought the same race car here this week that he had at Coke Zero SS, and running up inside of the top 10 as things currently stand. We're going to have 37 drivers still running, 36 of them on the lead lap. Zach Rogers, in the next 3 laps or so, will jump from 41st to 37th, taking advantage of the drivers back behind the wall. He is 5 laps down right now. And just an update on the drivers that are out after that wreck and drivers that are back in the garage area. Nick Gunther, Benjamin Miles, James Qualls, Daniel Voiles, and Joshua Osborne never took the green. An engine problem plaguing him right on the grid. He is credited for 42nd position. So a single file restart here. It'll take them a little bit time to get back to double wide and 3 wide and 4 wide and 5 wide. Yeah, I think we were 5 wide on occasion there. We were 5 wide last night in the lights race at Armory Digital as well, and they were able to keep it together as the green flag waves over the hood of the Mountain Dew Chevrolet, and we are back underway. An update on those other drivers out of the race and where they are positioned in the point standings. Benjamin Miles coming into this one 25th in points, Daniel Voiles 32nd, and Nick Gunther 36th. Three wide for 3rd. Well, now for 4th. Jessica Shelton going to tuck into the 3rd spot. Breeden, Sustre, Batson, Turner, almost 4 wide for the final spot inside of the top 5 as Austin LaPlante will move around Dylan Poteet, and he will go to the point. Jessica Shelton going to follow him into 2nd place, or is she? Not clear on the 31 just yet as LaPlante leads his first lap of the day. Austin LaPlante last week not getting the performance that he was looking for at the Charlotte Motor Speedway after he was involved in a pit road incident that put him a few laps down. He was never able to battle back, lost 4 spots in the standings as a result, 9th in overall points. He's actually tied with Levi McIntyre. They are 9th and 10th right now, so theoretically they are the co-cut line drivers, and I was concerned about Dylan Young in the 2. He still has that little bit of damage on the hood, but looks like he is up to speed, and he is going to put the Coca-Cola Ford Mustang out in front, followed by a couple more blue ovals there on that inside line. Levi McIntyre, Matt McIntyre, Jose Mills all working together here in a Ford alliance. Dylan Young going to lead that lap. We'll check about other drivers, see if they're up to speed or not. Looks like Cody Lamas might be in danger of losing this lead group. There's also a pack about 2 seconds behind the lead pack. Caleb Vogler is in that group, Casey Hoyt, Quentin Moore, Charles Sanfer. And then Reggie Fogelman and Anthony McCurry are even further back, about 12 seconds behind the race leaders in their own tandem. So we've got quite a number of drivers here that are off the pace, and if we continue to trend green, may find themselves playing a proverbial X factor as a moving chicane for the leaders to have to maneuver their way around. Cole Deaver looking for the top spot as Levi McIntyre out in front, and Levi will get his first lap lead of the day. Zach Rogers down there into the grass. Very low entry into turn 1 as Deaver, with a push from Dylan Young, he will clear Levi McIntyre off of turn 2 and put the Wheaties Chevrolet out into clean air. Three wide for second, Jose Mills. Thought about it, couldn't get to the inside of Dylan Young. It'll remain 2 by 2 for third and fourth. As Dylan Young will prevail against Levi McIntyre, or will he? McIntyre battles back on the high side, and Jose Mills sees that momentum. He'll jump up in front of Matt McIntyre. Six of Zach Rogers right there, up to speed, although lost 5 laps in the early going of this race after they had to push him back to his pit stall. Couldn't roll off the grid at the start of this race. Rogers did a couple of laps ago jump up to 37th on the current running order, bypassing the drivers out of the race after our first and up to this point only caution of the day. Levi McIntyre back out in front. A lot of Fords up here towards the front of the field. Michael Norman, Will Goss, Dylan Young, Levi McIntyre, Matt McIntyre, Jose Mills. Of course, Michael Norman, the only driver that's taken a checkered flag previously here at M&Ms Super Speedway, is 4 wide, almost 5 wide back there. Reese Banks in the middle of that, former winner at a Super Speedway. That was last season, his first career win at Talladega. Cole Deaver 21st in points coming into this one, so a victory could put him into the wild card conversation. Could potentially also put him up inside the top 10 in points. The point standings are still really, really close from about 5th on down through 34th. There's only about 70 some odd points separating that whole entire area. We've seen a lot of drivers jump up in the point standings in that area, and we've seen a lot of drivers plummet through the point standings in that area of the standings. Last week, a lot of our big gainers, Carson Gum up 10 spots from 26th to 16th. Matt McIntyre up 8 spots from 34th to 26th. Keith Batson gained 7 spots from 27th up to 21st, and Anthony McCurry gained 6 spots from 19th up to 13th. On the flip side, Matthew Rodriguez obviously missing out on the race last week at Charlotte, plummeted 12 spots from 18th to 30th. Zachary Fitzwater lost 6 positions from 16th to 22nd, and Benjamin Miles lost 5 spots from 20th to 25th. Do we have pitters? 80 of Matthew Rodriguez? Or no, somebody... Matt Haas, actually, the other Haas Racing Toyota. I thought it was Rodriguez, but it's Haas on pit road, and I don't see how this could be scheduled, but maybe it is. Boy, look at the 24 of Reggie Fogelman, no hood. And I believe that the leaders are on the same straightaway as the 61 and the 24, so they may end up getting caught here momentarily. Oh, we might have drivers coming to pit road here. Let's wait and see. Matt Haas may have just jumped everybody in terms of green flag pit stops. Let's see if anybody peels off here. Nobody up at the front. And caution's out. That's a huge break for Matt Haas, who I believe is going to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. It's also a big break for Fogelman and McCrory because they're going to stay on the lead lap as well. They were literally about maybe 5 seconds away from getting lapped. And Levi McIntyre will lead us into the second caution. I'm not sure what the caution was for, though. Got a few drivers way back here, catching back up to the field. Jose Mills, Rob Evans, and Nathan Ormond. Can't tell if those skid marks there on the back straightaway might have been from the incident that brought out this yellow, or if they're from the first caution. Oh, well, there's the reason for our yellow. Carson Gum had a great run last week at Charlotte, was 16th in points, and that car is all torn up, and Ryan Butcher as well involved, 29th in points. A couple of drivers that know something about getting into the playoffs. Ryan Butcher, a former regular season champion. Carson Gum, a former overall champion. And pit road will be open. They'll get the opportunity to pit here under caution. Matt Haas, I think, might inherit the race lead after he was the only driver on pit road just prior to this yellow flag coming out. Let's go back and take a look at what happened. Looks like only 2 drivers involved, and I'm not sure where this was. I didn't see any smoke to be able to signify where the incident occurred. Looks like it was down into turn 3. Ryan Butcher and his teammate Ryan Brommer. Oh, Butcher gets into the right rear quarter panel of Rob Evans. Turns him up the track into Nathan Ormond and Carson Gum. Butcher's car on its roof for a good portion of turn 3, and then Carson Gum was up and over as well, going into a barrel roll. So the 65 and the 23 definitely have some damage also. Watch this hit for Carson Gum. Nowhere to go. A wild barrel roll all the way through turn 3, and that car does fortunately land on all 4 wheels. I thought for a moment it was going to stay capsized. Big hits there for all 4 drivers. That's more than likely going to take Ryan Butcher and Carson Gum out of this race. Jury's still out on Evans and Ormond. Points leader there too. Rob Evans involved in this one, so now your top 2 in points. Both Rob Evans and Casey Hoyt involved in these 2 cautions so far, and more than likely will be damaged and off the pace, which opens up the door for a Jesse Turner or a Dylan Poteet to maybe capitalize. Pits were open, and we had most everybody come down pit lane, but Reese Banks, RJ Bishop, Caleb Fogler, Quentin Moore elected not to come down pit road. So that will cycle the 44 to the race lead. The 6 of Zach Rogers, he's coming down this time. Quentin Moore is actually coming down as well. Thought Zach Rogers might try and get one of his 5 laps back the hard way there, but since pits are open for the lap cars, he is on pit road this time by. And Reese Banks is going to cross the line, and I believe that is his first lap led of the day. Yes, it is. So it looks like he will be the one that will be our leader when we go back green. RJ Bishop, Caleb Fogler also staying out. Matt Haas stayed out, but we kind of expected that after he had just been on pit road prior to the caution flying, so he'll restart in 4th. And then a host of Fords behind him with Levi McIntyre, Mitchell Collins, Michael Norman, Chris Dollerton, Dylan Young, Will Goss, and Destin Bolin. That is 5th through 11th. Cole Deaver's going to be 12th, Keith Batson 13th, Kyler Sestre, Connor Breton are going to be the top 15. As expected, Carson Gum and Ryan Butcher out of the race after that incident. Nathan Ormond, very lengthy stay on pit road, getting damage repaired. Rob Evans, they didn't spend as much time doing damage repair on the 65, but we'll have to see with the impact both those drivers sustained how up to speed they will be. And we should have 35 drivers still running with 34 in the lead lap when the green flag flies again. We should get the 1 to green next time by, but we're going to step aside for a quick race break and then be back here for the restart. Reese Banks out in front showing the way, looking for his first win of the season, second win of his Duracell Cup Series career at M&M's Super Speedway. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Field making their way out of turn 2 and onto the back straightaway. Lights out atop the pace car, so we go back green on lap 22 of 42. It'll be 21 laps to go. Reese Banks out in front here for this restart. Going to be interested to see the 98 of RJ Bishop, the 28 of Caleb Fogler here on this restart, because they were back in a pack that had lost the lead group prior to that last caution coming out. Now we know they both got slight pieces of the wreck off of turn 2 in the follow-up wreck of our first caution. But RJ Bishop didn't really hit much of anything, and Caleb Fogler seemed to have rather light contact as well. I thought those two, more than likely, would still be up to speed. I'm wondering if they were stuck behind slower machines on the last restart. We'll see now if they will be up to speed clear of those slower cars. I mean, we saw Dylan Young, who's still up here inside the top 10 with hood damage, up there competing for the race lead. So I would certainly think these drivers are up to speed, but we will find out here once they get up to full song. Green flag back in the air. Reese Banks getting us underway. Reese Banks 11th in the point standings coming into this one. A victory could put him not only up into the top 10, but should he hit a bit of a cold spell, could put him in a wild card conversation. Looks like Caleb Fogler's up to speed. He was going for second place right off the bat against RJ Bishop. We'll see if the 98 stays up here with this group or if he gets freight trained. Looks like he's up to speed, at least for the moment. As Matt Haas, that caution, the timing of it was perfect for him. We found out unscheduled pit stop. He thought he had a flat. Came to pit road. They changed the tires. The caution comes out. He comes back off of pit road on the lead lap and was able to stay out here under this yellow flag to gain track position. Reese Banks is coming to pit road in the 44 now. And I would have to assume that's unscheduled. Not sure what's going on with him. RJ Bishop's on pit road as well. They're servicing the 98. Now remember, those two drivers stayed out. So maybe they're thinking come down pit road here immediately after the green flag dropped, maybe catch a quick yellow and gain that track position back, but they're going to have to hope that yellow comes out sooner rather than later. An unorthodox strategy, but we'll see if it pans out. Michael Norman now to the race lead after Matt Haas led the previous lap. Laura Chung, first time we mentioned her name today. She's up here battling for the top position. Her teammate Ryan Butcher back behind the wall. Her other teammate Ryan Brommer currently back in 22nd. Laura Chung looking for her second career win. Got her first last year in her rookie campaign at Watkins Glen. Matt McIntyre moving up here into the second spot. It's been a good last couple of weeks for this 21 team. Had a good run at Chicagoland. Great run last week at Charlotte. He's 26th in points. And while he's not the highest running of the Michael Norman Motorsports cars in the point standings right now, I would say based off of the last couple of weeks' performance, he is the best car out of that stable. Destin Bull and Mitchell Collins are running higher than he is in overall point standings, but consistency is definitely in the 21 camp right now. As Laura Chung continues to show the way, we've got a Small pack of cars up here now, and I'm not certain what led to it. But now you've got a group of cars back here, 13th place on back, Dustin Bolin, Ryan Brommer and company. I wonder if these guys got split up when you had RJ Bishop coming to pit road. Might have woed them up a bit there off of turn 4. You also saw the 28 of Caleb Fogler coming off of pit lane. Remember, he, Banks, and Bishop all stayed out and decided to pit here under green flag conditions. Fogler, this is not going to pan out in his favor. He's now gone a lap down. Currently, the other two drivers are on the tail end of the lead lap. But there they are, only about maybe half a straightaway ahead of the race leaders. They need that caution car right there to flash its lights and keep them on the tail end of the lead lap. Dylan Poteet going back to the front. Zach Rogers, after the early issues at the very start of this race, picked up 2 more spots, bypassing Ryan Butcher and Carson Gum, so move him up to 35th. 7 drivers back in the garage area after we've worked 2 cautions here today. Carson Gum, Ryan Butcher, Nick Gunther, Benjamin Miles, James Qualls, Daniel Boyles, and Joshua Osborne, as Cole Deaver will go back to the front. Looking for S3 Motorsports' second win on the season. Jessica Shelton has the first a few weeks ago at Chicagoland. I'm also trying to figure out here, with those 3 drivers coming to pit lane just after we went back green, what the fuel window would be for these guys. And I think we're looking more than likely at none of these drivers being able to reach the conclusion. We went back green with 21 laps to go. It looks like the fuel window is somewhere around the 15-16 lap mark. So these drivers would be about 5 laps short of reaching the conclusion. How about some of the other drivers up here in this lead pack that we haven't talked about today that could be in the conversation for this win? Kyler Sustre looking for his second win on the year as a rookie. We already saw Connor Breton double down on wins last week. Casey Hoyt, a 2-time winner as well. So not impossible to see a third rookie get their second win on the season. Chris Dollerton right there as well in the 83. Good run for him today. Dollerton's been a quiet driver this season. 27th in overall points. He gained 5 spots last week after Charlotte. We'll see if maybe he's got something for this race victory here today. He is currently the only one of the Louisville Automotive entries that's up here at the front of the field in this lead pack. His teammate Jose Mills back in the second group, currently 14th. You saw they reeled in the 98 of RJ Bishop and Reese Banks, as Chris Dollerton's on pit road in the 83. And nobody else is coming down with him. This is really strange seeing drivers coming down pit road by themselves. You normally at a super speedway want to come down pit road with at least a couple of drivers, if not a full group. But Dollerton making the dive onto pit lane there, and when the driver comes down by themselves, the first thought is that it is an unscheduled pit stop. Well, maybe not unscheduled here. Some others came down pit road. Rob Evans and Casey Hoyt this lap. Dollerton down and away. And here comes some others. All right, so this does begin a cycle of pit stops. Oh, we got a wreck. Oh, Matt McIntyre into the pit wall. Matt Haas spinning around as well. Mitchell Collins, more oncoming traffic. Is that going to bring out a yellow, or was that deemed off the racing surface? The caution is going to come out for that. Oh, tough break there for Matt McIntyre. Contact coming onto pit lane. He spins in the direction of that pit wall. Completely clobbered it. It will be under the yellow flag for the 3rd time this afternoon. Kyler Sustre was scored the leader there crossing the start finish line. They're waiting for the pace car to catch up. Another big break for Anthony McCrory, and going to be a big break as well for Chris Dollerton, Casey Hoyt, and Rob Evans, because they'll remain on the lead lap here with the timing of this caution. Or will they? They might have actually, Hoyt and Evans might have gotten trapped behind the pace car there. We'll figure that out in a minute. There's the 21 of Matt McIntyre. They pushed him back behind the wall. Matt Haas and Mitchell Collins also involved in that contact coming to pit lane. There's the 33. Boy, a lot of drivers coming off some good momentum last week, been rapidly climbing their way through the point standings. They have hit a roadblock here at M&Ms Super Speedway. Here's a look at it. Matt McIntyre in the 21, watch up ahead. The 8 of Matt Haas, the 33 of Mitchell Collins make contact. They come down into Matt McIntyre and just shoot him, unfortunately, right in the direction of that pit wall. And then Jose Mills, Jessica Shelton, and others, I think that was Kyle Matthews, had to be careful as they were making their way onto pit road to not only avoid the 21, but the 8 and the 33 were spinning on pit lane right in front of them. See if we can catch the tail end of the incident here with another camera angle. Watch this impact. Fortunately, it was the right rear that hit, not the driver's side. But a big shot from Matt McIntyre there. And that's going to take him out of this race for sure. 33, the 8, they're going to be damaged. Not sure how damaged they're going to be. And this will be setting us up with a restart of less than 10 to go. So more than likely, everybody should be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel. Looks like we're going to have about 4 drivers a lap down here on this restart. RJ Bishop, Reese Banks, Caleb Fogler all lost a lap under that last green flag run with pit stops. Remember, they were the 4 that elected to stay out under the previous caution, so if they had just waited a couple more laps, they probably, or if they come to pit road, or rather under that last caution period, they probably would still be on the lead lap at this point in time. Zach Rogers is 5 laps down still, but he'll pick up another spot and move up to 34th in the matter of about 4 or 5 laps when he bypasses the retired Matt McIntyre. So the 65 of Rob Evans, the 74 of Casey Hoyt can update that they were allowed to go around the pace car. They were scored on the tail end of the lead lap at the time the caution came out. So they will be restarting in 29th and 30th. And you saw the lap down cars coming onto pit road this time by. Cole Deaver going to be the race leader here for this upcoming restart. Dylan Pote will line up in 2nd, and Cody Lamas in 3rd. Just noticed that our top 3 have only made 2 pit stops, while most of the others behind them have made 3. I think these drivers came to pit road here under this caution period, but maybe they didn't. And if they didn't, I highly question that strategy. Laura Chung is the first driver listed having made 3 pit stops. She will restart in 4th, Levi McIntyre in 5th. Nathan Ormond is now up to 6th, and we didn't really get an opportunity to see how up to speed he is after he was involved in the Carson Gum, Ryan Butcher, Rob Evans wreck. I think he is off the pace, but I'm not 100% certain. Jose Mills, Jessica Shelton, Kyle Matthews, Chris Dollerton are going to be the top 10 for this upcoming restart. Big break for a lot of those drivers that were back in that second pack and weren't able to catch up. They're now going to be up here with the lead group and be back in the conversation for this race victory. Well, again, we're going to have the 1 degree next time by, and we'll get the restart with, it looks like, 9 laps to go. So we're going to step aside for another quick race break and be back here for the restart, potentially the final restart of the day here at M&Ms Super Speedway. Cole Deaver is your current race leader. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Getting ready for a 9-lap shootout here at M&Ms Super Speedway. Took the opportunity during this race break to go back and confirm your top 12 drivers all stayed out under this caution period. That would be Cole Deaver back to Matt Haas. Connor Breton was the first one off of pit road, so if fuel is indeed a concern, driver 88 would be the front runner of those that more than likely can reach the conclusion. Cole Deaver will be the leader, Dylan Poteet in second, Cody Lamas third, Laura Chung and Levi McIntyre complete the top 5. Then it's Nathan Ormond, Jose Mills, Jessica Shelton, Kyle Matthews, Chris Daugherty in the top 10. Mitchell Collins and Matt Haas were the other drivers that did not pit under this caution. 9 laps to go. Can we finish them under green? Cole Deaver gets us back underway. Dylan Poteet makes a step out here for the top position. A lot of other drivers fanning out further back in the middle half of the top 10. Poteet will clear for the top position over Cole Deaver. Cody Lamas with the back end missing on that race car, but still appears to be at least slightly up to speed. Trying to salvage a good run here after being involved in the first caution of the day. Big run for Jessica Shelton on the inside there. She's going to bypass about 3 or 4 cars in the matter of 1 corner. Big push from Jose Mills. Kyle Matthews right there as well in the 09. And we got drivers pitting. These are drivers that stayed out. And again, I don't understand the strategy, but Deaver, Poteet, Lamas, and Ormond all on pit road. Race lead gets turned over to Jessica Shelton. This, I think, spells bad news for the other, 8 drivers that stayed out here. They probably can't make it on fuel either. S3 Motorsports 1-2 right now. The Dodge of Shelton, the Chevy of Kyle Matthews. 38th and 39th in points respectively. Both of them need points. Kyle Matthews was close to a win last week at Charlotte. Finished strongly up inside of the top 5 as I looked back to see if some of those others that hadn't pitted, if they were going to come down pit road. Doesn't look like it. Ryan Brommer back up here into the top 5 in the 5th position. There's Connor Breton looking for back-to-back victories and his 3rd win on the season in only his 15th start. There's Keith Batson, our runner-up finisher from Coke Zero Super Speedway. I said, keep an eye on this guy. And there he is. A couple of other drivers up here that we haven't talked about. Destin Bolin there in the 12, looking for his 1st win on the year. Zachary Fitzwater looking for his 2nd win, following up his Mid-Ohio checkered flag. And Matthew Rodriguez is right at the tail end of this pack as well. Remember, he came into this race, the 2-time winner, in the 30th position in points. Needs to stay in the top 30 for his 2 wins to count to a wild card spot. Needs points in this one, and he's up in this lead group. Looks like we got about roughly 15 drivers up in this lead pack right now, then a half second back to another pack with Mitchell Collins, Will Goss, Jesse Turner, and Dylan Young. Ryan Brommer going to take the 2nd position from Kyle Matthews. Kyler Sustre going to look to the inside for 3rd. Now it's going to be Brommer versus Shelton, as Shelton's been able to keep a pretty nice gap of about 2 to 3 car lengths between herself and 2nd place. The battle has been for the runner-up spot here the last couple of laps, allowing Shelton to have a little bit of breathing space, but that's going to close up here, it looks like. Traffic up ahead. Nathan Ormond, who is just on pit lane. Shelton's going to catch him on the straightaway. Should be able to complete this pass down into 1. Little slow there on that move, and Ryan Brommer never lifted. Now Brommer breathes the throttle a little bit there, so Shelton and he were dead even going into turn 1, but Ryan Brommer is going to take the lead on that inside line, and they're going to have another car to deal with in a moment. That's Cody Lamas. Keith Batson going to step down to the bottom for the top position on Ryan Brommer as they both make their way around the 84. Keith Batson going to try and edge ahead here into 3, and he will. He'll clear for the spot. Almost contact right there between Connor Breton and Ryan Brommer in the middle of turn 3. Now Chris Dollerton, big run. He'll look to the inside of Keith Batson. Michael Norman right there with him. Michael Norman, a former team owner of Chris Dollerton. Remember Dollerton back in the Pizza Hut X Series drove for Michael Norman Motorsports in the number 1. A lot of drivers up here looking for their first win on the season. You got to go back to Connor Breton and Kyler Sustre battling for the 7th spot before you find your first former winner on the year. Batson, Dollerton, Matthews, Brommer, Norman, they're all looking for their first. Destin Bolin, add him to that list of season 7. Getting interesting here. Look at Matthew Rodriguez sliding in there, almost up into the left rear quarter panel of Destin Bolin. Rodriguez looking for his series-leading 3rd win on the year. Jessica Shelton got held up behind Cody Lamas when they lapped him. She's charging back up here to the front. And don't think we've heard the last of other drivers back at the tail end of this group like Laura Chung or Austin LaPlante. Keith Batson out in front. Going to be 2.5 laps to go this time by down the back straightaway. Shelton with a big push from Jose Mills. Those two have been working well together. I've seen them on a couple of occasions this race, nose to tail. And the push that Mills gives Shelton is going to propel her back out to the race lead. Last year, the Project Mazda out of Fortnite Squad Racing went to victory lane 4 times with Nick Gunther. Shelton's already put the Project Intrepid in victory lane once at Chicagoland on a fuel strategy. And she'll see 2 to go here at M&Ms Super Speedway. Zachary Fitzwater peeled off onto pit road late. I saw another driver on pit road there just a moment ago. Couldn't tell who that was. So fuel still might be a little bit of a concern here in the closing stage, and if that's the case, Jessica Shelton proved at Chicagoland she knows how to manage fuel. Dodge leading a couple of Fords, then a Chevrolet and a Toyota. Mills to the inside of Batson for 2nd place. Can these drivers at the front make it on fuel? Will they stay out to see the white flag, or will they have to dive onto pit lane? Shelton looks like she's going to be able to make it. Brommer and Norman are in, though. They're not going to be able to. They're going to have to come to pit road. Receiving the white flag is Jessica Shelton. Just 3 weeks ago, she picked up her first win on the season in this Project Dodge Intrepid. She's going to have some traffic up ahead to deal with, but they're battling for 2nd. Mills and Batson. Shelton going to have her teammate up here, Cole Deaver, to maybe play some defense for her. Dylan Poteet as well, about to go a lap down. Shelton's got to get these 2 drivers past quickly here, cannot breathe the throttle, and she will get them cleared. Oh, Batson, oh, look at that! Deaver's going to throw the block for his teammate Shelton and keep Batson at bay. Jessica Shelton in just 3 weeks is going to give the Project Dodge Intrepid its 2nd win of the season. Shelton, a multi-time winner here in the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series as she takes the checkered flag at M&Ms Super Speedway. Leads 7 laps today. A strong performance in the closing stages. And on a couple of occasions, got out in front and nobody could get to her. They started battling for 2nd in those last couple of laps. And Cole Deaver with a big block as a then lap machine to keep 2nd place on back from getting up to Shelton through 3 and 4. And Jessica Shelton, amazingly enough, folks, as well, ran her fastest lap of the race on that last lap. So hammered down and wasn't going to lift. Jessica Shelton, for the first time in her career, is a multi-time winner. And now, provided the 94 is up in the top 30 in points at the conclusion of this one, which that is a possibility, could very well now be in the conversation as a wild card driver for the playoffs. Are we looking at a little deja vu from last year? Kind of feel like we are. The Mazda had 4 wins last season. The Dodge Intrepid already has 2. And there's still a lot of season left to go. Here's a look at the finishing results. Keith Batson, man, he's got to be hating these 3-mile super speedways because this is the second straight time that he has finished second place. He did at Coke Zero Super Speedway, and he does again here at M&Ms Super Speedway. But a great performance for him. Jose Mills going to bring it home in third. Connor Breton needed points for his 2 wins to be in the wild card conversation. He got points today, finishing fourth. Destin Bolin brings it home in the 5th position. 6th was Kyler Sustre, well-needed points for the non-charter driver. Lord Chung 7th, Chris Dollerton 8th, Kyle Matthews and Levi McIntyre are going to complete the top 10. Austin LaPlante was 11th, Dylan Young in 12th, Mitchell Collins, Casey Hoyt, and Quentin Moore, your top 15. Good comeback run there for Casey Hoyt after being involved in the first caution of the day. He's going to top Rob Evans, who finishes in 23rd. That's 8 points that Mitchell Collins is going to make up, I believe. No, correction, that is 9 points that Mitchell Collins makes, or that Casey Hoyt makes up Rob Evans. Let me double check and see if either one led a lap here today. Evans did, so they would have been tied if Evans hadn't led a lap, but because he did get that bonus point, Evans will have 1 point, it looks like, over Casey Hoyt heading into next week at our doubleheader at the Monster Mile of Dover. So things are going to be very close in that regard. You saw drivers have to pit in the closing stages. Ryan Brommer, Michael Norman, Zachary Fitzwater, Matthew Rodriguez, Jesse Turner were amongst those drivers that could not reach the conclusion without diving onto pit road in the final couple laps of this event. Charles Sanford was the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Several drivers finishing off the lead lap on various pit strategies going wrong. Deaver, Pote, Lamas, Banks, RJ Bishop, Caleb Fogler, Nathan Ormond, Anthony McCrory. Zach Rogers, who had issues at the very start of the race, finishes 5 laps down, but he finishes 34th, which is more points gained than 42nd. And we had a total of 8 drivers not reach the conclusion of this race after we worked 3 cautions today. Matt McIntyre, Carson Gum, Ryan Butcher, Nick Gunther, Benjamin Miles, James Qualls, Daniel Voiles, and Joshua Osborne. Well, a wild one here today. We knew this was going to be a wild card type race. It definitely was that. We now have our fourth different 2-time winner on the season. Matthew Rodriguez, Casey Hoyt, Connor Breton, and now add to that list Jessica Shelton as she picks up the checkered flag here. 2nd win in 3 weeks in the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series Season 7. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race here. If you did, be sure to give this a like, subscribe to Kart Crew today. We showed you your full picture results, and you're now looking at your point standings heading into next week, as it is a doubleheader for both the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers and the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers, as we are at the concrete Monster Mile Dover Raceway. Cannot wait for that one. Going to be about track position and tires. And we'll see if we're going to have another different driver go to victory lane or maybe another repeat winner on the season. But until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.